Tea time, said Mr. Rusty. Has anyone got any biscuits? Hello, Mr. Rusty, said Florence. I've made a cake. Oh, said Mr. Rusty, that looks good. Yes, said Florence. Can we eat it now? No, said Florence, I've got to put it in the oven and... Wait for it to rise? Asked Mr. Rusty. Yes, said Florence. Zebedee? You called? Said Zebedee. Have we got an oven that we can bake my cake in? I'm sure we can rustle something up, said Zebedee. Said Dougal. Why can't we eat it now? Because it's got to go in the oven for a while so that it can rise, said Florence. Said Dougal. Pity. By the way, what's it made of? Said Florence. I mean, does it have lots and lots of sugar in it, does it? Sugar and butter and eggs and flour, said Mr. Rusty. That's what cakes are made of. Right, said Dougal. And now we just wait, do we, for it to rise? We don't just have a bit now just to see, do we? Does it take very long? No, not really. I don't think so, said Florence. I've never really made a cake before. Let's go and wait somewhere, said Mr. Rusty, until it's ready. All right, said Florence, and off they went. What a lovely smell, said Brian, all scrummy and warm. Oh, look, someone's baking a cake. Now, what snails really like in cakes is... tomatoes. Hey, wow, awoken by a groovy aroma. My nasal passages are talking to me in pastry language. Yeah. Hey, I thought so. Someone's like baking a cake. I'll put a carrot in. Yeah, carrot cake. All-time favorite, rabbit-wise. What an absolutely yummy, homely smell, said Ermintrude. Someone must be baking a cake. Oh, yes, absolutely delicious. But missing that special ingredient, I suspect. A soupçon of leaves to give it that extra fuller flavour. Butter, sugar, eggs, and what else? Oh, yes, flour. Well, there's a flour. I'll put an extra one in. Maybe it'll cook faster now. Bring, said Zebedee. Cake's ready. So they all walked back to the oven. Oh, look, said Florence, it's risen. Well done, Florence, said Ermintrude. It looks very professional. I'm looking forward to this. It's not often we get a special treat like this, is it? No, said Brian. One slice for everybody, said Florence. Oh, it tastes a bit, What? Said Florence. Well, it's like, It's not very nice, said Brian. Shh, said Dougal. It tastes like a salad, said Mr. Rusty. Yes, they all agreed. Very nice, said Zebedee. Now, what's for pudding? A nightingale? No. A dolphin? No. A squeaky mattress? No, it was supposed to be a skylark, said Mr. Rusty, but I can't seem to do it anymore. I used to be famous for my bird impressions. Were you really? Said Florence. Oh, yes. Poppinjays, warblers, gallinules. I've done 'em all. Trouble is, you never seem to hear them these days, and I've forgotten what they sound like. Yes, the birds have been a bit quiet recently, said Florence. Zebedee? Hello? Do you know anything about birds? I'm a bit of an expert myself. Ask me anything you like. What does a skylark sound like? Asked Florence. It's a sort of a breathy sort of a whistle. I've forgotten. Shall we go and find out? Asked Florence. Now? Yes. Woof, 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 woof. Hello, Dougal. What was that supposed to be? That was my dog impression, said Dougal. It obviously worked. Have you noticed how quiet it is recently? Asked Florence. Can't say I'm bothered, really, said Dougal. The birds have stopped singing. Ah, the birds, you say, said Mr. McHenry. Hello, Mr. McHenry. Hello. You see, you can't hear the birds singing because they've all gone back to school. Back to school? Really? Said Florence. Good idea, said Dougal. Best place for them, if you ask me. Keep them off the streets. Nasty, scruffy little things, cluttering up the trees. Come and have a look, said Mr. McHenry. This is the Bird Retraining Centre. All these birds have got to learn to sound like something else. But why can't they just sound like birds, said Florence. Ah, no demand, you see. I mean, who wants a bird that sounds like a bird when with the Bird Opportunity Scheme you could have a bird that sounds like a violin? OK, Colin? Very good. I think you've cracked it. Alan, how's your trumpet? I'm having a bit of trouble with my beak, actually. But, here goes. Pop! Yes, a little more practice, perhaps. David? Sounds suspiciously like a bird to me, said Dougal. Yes, a cuckoo, said Florence. It's actually an impression of a cuckoo by a magpie. Next. Very good. Next. Not much like a tuba, was it? Try harder. Next. Rolf Harris would be proud of you. Hawaiian guitar. Excellent. Now, everyone together. There you are, you see. It gives them a second chance, said Mr. McHenry. What do you think? Well, I'm not sure, said Florence. What do you think, Dougal? I think it's a great idea, said Dougal. Who wants birds singing when you can wake up to the sounds of a Hawaiian beach party? Yes, it definitely has possibilities. We could teach them to make the beds, do the hoovering. Now, that would be something. Dougal, are you there? Dougal, where are you? Dougal can't make it, I'm afraid, said Brian. He's too busy. So he sent me as his personal envelope. I think that's what he said. What's he doing? Asked Florence. Oh, chairing meetings, meeting chairs, all the sorts of things that a president of a golf club has to do. A golf club, said Florence. Yes, a golf club. Oh dear, said Florence. And so, without further ado, it falls to me as a president of this golf club to preside over the aforementioned golf club, which I will do without further ado, said Dougal. Oh, he's a lovely speaker. What a way with words, said Brian. And so to the subject at hand, which is, as we all know, what is the subject? Golf, yes. And to give you a short history of this exciting game, I will now hand you over to the club secretary, Dylan. Dylan? Thank you, Dylan. Now, any questions? Can we have a go now? Yes, I was coming to that, said Dougal. Why do we need a golf club? Asked Florence. Ah, yes, why do we need a golf club? That brings me to my next point, said Dougal. The reason we have a golf club is... where am I? Said Dylan. Exactly. Where am I? No. The reason we have a golf club is so that we can refuse to let some people join it. Oh, they all said. Well, we can't just let anyone in, you know, said Dougal. It's a golf club. I don't think I want to join anyway, said Ermintrude. Oh, what a pity, said Dougal. I think ballooning sounds much more fun. You'd never get off the ground, you curdled clump. How do we join, then? Asked Florence. To qualify for membership, you have to be a personal friend of Bruce Forsyth, said Dougal. And you've got to, wear a pair of check trousers, said Dylan. And satisfy the board that you are not a snail. That's not fair, said Brian. We can't have snails on the golf course, said Dougal. Oh, Dougal, said Florence. Go on, shoo, go away. Off with you, go and bury yourself in a bunker. How do we play, then? Asked Florence. Well, said Dougal, you take your, racket, like so, and you sort of swing it. Like so. And, the person who hits the most flowers wins, said Dougal. Like so. No, man, said Dylan. You do it like this. Oh, that's a hole-in-one, isn't it? Said Florence. Of course, it's better with check trousers on, said Dylan. Well done, said Florence. Very good, said Ermintrude. Yes, well, that's your basic stroke, said Dougal. It's all very simple, really. Except that, it seems to have gone down a hole. Oh, Dougal, that's the whole point, said Florence, chuckling. New balls, please, said Dougal. New balls coming up, said Mr. McHenry, who had some in his basket. These won't last long, said Dougal. We keep losing them. How can we play golf with all these holes in the lawn? We ought to get the council to do something, you know. They are doing something, said Mr. McHenry. They're going to develop this whole site into a theme park. Oh, goody good, said Brian. It all seems a bit pointless to me, said Florence. I'm going for a walk. I declare this meeting closed due to lack of interest, said Ermintrude. Now, who wants to join my ballooning club? Another beautiful day, said Dougal. Yes, it is lovely, said Florence. You know, when the sun's shining like this and the birds are singing, it makes me want to jump on a mountain bike and tear up the earth on a dirt track. Oh, Dougal, said Florence, doesn't a day like this make you wonder how all this got to be here? Should it? Said Dougal. Yes, doesn't it make you think? Said Florence. You're right, it does. I won't tear up the earth on a mountain bike, said Dougal. I'll go to a drive-in movie and pick up a cheeseburger on the way. No, said Florence. Don't you ever wonder how we all got to be here? Well, sometimes, said Dougal. And do you know? Do I know? Said Dougal. Ha ha! Of course I know. Oh, I know. Hello, dear hearts, said Ermintrude. Anyone need some advice from Auntie Ermintrude? Always willing to help, you know. We cows have seen it all before down on the farm. I don't think we want to hear about that, actually. I was just wondering, said Florence, how we got to be here. I caught the bus, said Brian. Would you like to know? Said Ermintrude. I'm sure you're going to tell us anyway, said Dougal. Well, it's all to do with the birds and the bees, and the flowers and the trees, and the dogs and the snails. Oh, this should be interesting. I hope so, said Florence. Cover your ears, juveniles, said Dougal. Now, can you tell me when is the garden most full of flowers and things? In the spring, said Florence. That's right, and that's when it all happens. This way, Dougal, buzz, buzz. I'm beginning to feel sorry I started all this now. Come along, Florence, said Ermintrude. Oops, oh, sorry. Now, in the spring, a little seed grows inside each little flower. And each seed grows into another little flower, is that right? Said Florence. Yes, but before it can do that, it has to meet another little flower and pollinate. Oh, so how does it do that? Said Florence. That's where the bees come in. Dougal, you're a bee. All right, I'm a bee, said Dougal. Now you take the pollen and put it over there, dear. Buzz, 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 said Dougal. Good, that's it. Now imagine that I'm the wind. The what? Said Dougal. The wind. Could have fooled me, said Dougal. And I'm blowing the seed from a flower like this, said Ermintrude. Is it all becoming crystal clear to you now? Said Brian. Well, not quite, said Florence. Hey, man, want to talk about the birds and the bees? Said Dylan. Yes, said Florence, I want to know how we all got here. Well, your parents, find a little baby in a cabbage patch and then, no one ever gets any sleep ever again. So where do the birds come into it? Said Florence. Here we are, the birds in the trees. How did I get mixed up in all this? Said Dougal. Now it's spring, and I'm a bird in a tree, and I'm looking for a mate. Tweet, tweet, tweet. Now where can one be? Up here? Down there? I don't think I like the sound of this. Stuck up a tree with a demented cow. Help! Help! Why am I here? I thought you were going to tell me that, said Florence. I haven't the faintest idea. Help! Hello, Dougal, said Florence. Hello. Excuse me. Sorry, said Florence. Just here should do, said Dougal. Dougal, what are you doing? Asked Florence. Oh, just making sure the flowers are smelling nice today. It's always nice to know that the flowers are smelling nice, don't you think? Any reason why they shouldn't? Asked Florence. No reason at all, said Dougal. And are they? Said Florence. Oh, yes, I'm happy to say that the flowers are smelling very nice indeed today. Never smelt better. Good. I'm glad about that, said Florence, because I was just thinking how lovely the garden is at the moment. Oh, yes, I do agree, said Dougal. It's a lovely bit of land, a valuable asset, a gold mine, in fact. And it would be a shame if anyone spoilt it, said Florence. Oh, yes, heaven forbid that anyone should spoil it. That would be tragic, wouldn't it, said Dougal. Hello, I've got the mine shaft, said Brian. Shh, keep your voice down, said Dougal. We don't want everyone to know what we're doing, do we? Sorry, Governor, said Brian. What's Brian doing? Asked Florence. Oh, you know, snail work, said Dougal. The poor little chap's got to fill his life with some mindless activity. Hi-ho, a snail's work is never done, said Brian. I need 2 pairs of hands for this job. And I haven't even got one. Oh, it looks like an adventure playground, said Florence. Hi-ho, it's off to lunch we go. Yes, that's exactly what it is, an adventure playground. My idea, of course, Sue Ellen. Just making this town a decent place for folks to live in, said Dougal. You just called me Sue Ellen. Did I? Yes. Oh, just a slick of the tongue, said Dougal. Nearly ready for our first dig, DR, said Brian. We'll get a move on then, said Dougal. It looks more like the Eiffel Tower now, said Florence. Does it? Said Dougal. Sort of, said Florence. Yes, that's it. It's an Eiffel Tower adventure playground theme park, said Dougal. C'est très magnifique, n'est-ce pas? Is it ready yet? Not quite, governor. Well, hurry up then. Dougal's acting very strangely today. I wonder what he's up to, thought Florence. You can go now if you want. Come back when it's finished, said Dougal. Here we go, said Brian. "16 metres, 25 metres, 30 metres. We're going to be rich, 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 said Dougal. It's an oil well, isn't it, said Florence. You're drilling for oil. We'll give you a 10% cut, said Brian. You're going to ruin the garden, aren't you, said Florence. Oh, not in my backyard, eh, said Dougal. Hold it right there, oil thieves. Now look what's happened, said Florence. You've upset an oil lamp. Never mind that, said Dougal. We're going to be petrol-rich. I could wear a Stetson. And I could wear shoulder pads, said Brian. Over my dead body, Bobby Snail. I've got to be ruthless. I won't let anyone stand in my way. I'm going to be rich. Not while I'm around, D.R. I'm the long-lost oil lamp you thought you'd never see again, and any oil in this well is rightfully mine. This would be a great idea for a soap opera, wouldn't it, said Brian. It could run and run. Ah, Brian, may I have a word in your shell-like? Certainly, Dougal, me old chum. Strictly between us, mind you, in confidence. It shall go no further, me old doggy chop. It's about Ermintrude. Doesn't she get on your nerves? What, old Ermy? Shh! I don't want anyone to hear this, but have you noticed she's always eating? Perhaps she's lonely, said Brian. I can't stand all that mindless munching. She looks like a barrage balloon on stilts, said Dougal. A barrage balloon on stilts? Dougal, Brian. Shh, here comes Florence. Hello there. Has anyone seen Ermintrude? It's hard to miss her, usually, isn't it?